Government's fight against illegal mining through the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force Operation Vanguard seems to be yielding some results, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines wants the operation sustained. Chief Executive of the Chamber, Suleimana Kone, is actually urging stricter punishment for those caught in the act to deter others from practicing illegal mining.
It's been almost a year since the Ministries of Defense, Interior, as well as Energy and Natural Resources put together a joint police and military task force to clamp down on illegal mining. Backed by the Ghanaian media, some successes have been recorded, but there is more to be done. The latest to add on to the anti-Galamsey fight is the creative art industry. A new movie titled Ill Minds is underway, and producers are optimistic it will stay up the steam of the Galamsey fight once more.
Teta Alampo, a prospective desperate for man, is looking for a lucky break. He teams up with young men in the
A decision by the board of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company to suspend its chief executive has been overruled by the Energy Ministry. The board on Tuesday passed a resolution to, among others, constitute a committee to look into financial impropriety claims leveled against Francis Essien. The ministry, at a meeting with the State Enterprises Commission on Wednesday, however, says the CEO will stay in office. We'll bring you comments from the State Enterprises Commission in a bit. But Komla Adom was at the offices of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company earlier in the day and reports that the chief executive resumed work and operations have resumed at the factory.
Workers of a company earlier on Wednesday staged a protest to demand the board rescinds its decision to ask the CEO to step aside over claims of financial impropriety. The CEO later arrived at the office to assure the workers she's still very much in charge.
I'm appealing to the union to appeal to the workers to go back to work. Government, State Enterprise Commission, and the Honorable Asamoah Boateng, the Executive Chairman, and the Honorable Brache Jako, our Minister, and the Ministry, and other stakeholders who actually supervise us on GCMC are working hard to resolve the issues, and in the shortest possible time, I believe the media and all Ghanaians will know what is happening.
Madam, will you accept the suspension?
All I'm saying is that the appropriate authorities, including the State Enterprises Commission, Ministry of Energy, are handling matters. So at this stage, I'll appeal for calm from all sides, restraint also by the media in publication, so that at the end of the day, when the authorities speak, then we all abide by what they say.
You mentioned that you are still the substantive.
And I'm saying that I'm the substantive CEO and I've come to work. I'm here because I'm the substantive CEO. That's all I will say.
So you are defying the directive?
I said I'm the substantive CEO. That is all I will say. But wait for government to work.
That they are not going to work. What kind of advice?
And I've appealed to them that they should work, because we need the income. We need to serve the public. The cylinders need to go out there. So work first in the interest of Ghana. So Ghana first. All other issues will be resolved by the appropriate authorities.
Ma'am, why weren't you at work yesterday if indeed that you're saying they should work in the interest of the state is at stake?
I believe that there's a union here, and anything that will be disruptive, care has to be taken to preserve property and also to ensure that everybody is safe. So actually, if yesterday there was nothing like a shutdown, so that's what I appeal to you, that there's a union here. And if you came and there was nobody here, then probably we're all busy doing other things.
You didn't ask them to stay off as the reports are?
My brother, I will not go into any extraneous matters. So please accept my position on this matter.
The workers who resumed work subsequently vowed to resist any attempts by the board to remove the CEO, whose tenure they say has brought good fortune to the company.
We, the workers, were not happy about that because before this CEO came here, things that we went through before, it wasn't easy. Her presence over here saved us a lot, we and our family. And then we have seen a lot of improvements, both staffs and then the company as a whole. So because of that, we can't allow such a person to go just like that. What I mean is when you look at our salary matter, good. She have done a lot about our salary, and then the expansion of the company, and then new machines. We are buying new machines that will boost the image of the company or the work, and that will help us, stay in business. You understand me?
The Workers' Union Chairman, William Aklagbo, says the resolutions reached by the board is yet to be communicated to them, maintaining they cannot allow the board to collapse the company.
No, actually nothing. We haven't heard anything. We only see it on air. And then the reason why we go on demonstration is that on the 29th of April, the board chairman called me, the union chairman told me about the collapsing of the company due to financial difficulties. And we as a union, we can't sit down for that thing to happen before we take any action. That's why, after looking at what the CEO will be doing for us, we can't just wait for the collapsing of the company. And we will not sit down to allow anybody to collapse their company. That's why we go on demonstration. In case they have anything between them, they can solve it, but not to sack our CEO.
The workers are, however, welcoming news of a probe from the State Enterprises Commission, adding they will make themselves available for any form of questioning in this regard.
This paper I'm holding, as you can see, is from State Enterprise Commission. Form a committee form a committee to investigate this matter. So you could see that this investigation contradicts what the chairman has said.
In the meantime, it appears operations at the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company are back to normal. From the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company here at Spintex, I am Komladun reporting for Joy News.
Executive Chairman of the State Enterprises Commission, Similia Samobatin, confirmed the decision to overrule the GTMC board in an earlier interview with Gifty Andrew Apia, adding a 3-member committee has been set up to look into the issues.
No, we have not approved of any suspension before a decision is made. So everything like the CEO back to her work, board carry on with your work, which we know we understand there's a meeting on the 17th. Fine, they should go ahead. But the team is to come back in 2 weeks. Within the week, we believe we can pick up some signal, and then we know what to do from there. In the meantime, I'm doing a report to the appointing authority today, and they might also give us a new direction. I've been talking to some of the personnel at the presidency, so I'm fairly okay with so far what we've done.
King, you have put together this 3-member committee. What exactly are you tasking them to look out for? What are they looking out for here? Please.
Basically, the terms of reference is to identify the source of conflict, is to look at any financial and procurement impropriety.
Okay.
To look at the impact between the board chair, other board members, and the CEO. To look at and to consider whether the impact is adversely affecting the performance of the SOE to achieve its mandate, and any other consequential issue.
Okay. Okay.
That's the terms of reference.
Those are the terms of reference.
Yes,
and do we have any timelines here?
Yes, we've given them 2 weeks to report, and then the decision will be made obviously by the appointing authority. I don't make decisions. I do a work, investigate, put an opinion if I have one, and then work with my colleagues in the ministries, and then we then submit it to the appointing authority, which in fact this afternoon I'm submitting an interim report, even before that would include the fact that the committee has been set up.
There have been strong reactions to speculations that the University of Ghana could see a name change sometime soon. President Akufo-Addo, at the launch of an endowment fund for the university on Monday, said it would be appropriate to name his uncle, J.B. Danquah, as the founder. Although the president did not make any categorical statement, some past and current students are saying, with the benefit of hindsight, the president could be contemplating renaming the institution and would have none of that. Some of the students say they will resist any such attempt. Maxwell Agogba has been speaking to some of them.
I'm currently some meters away from the Ivan Adai-Mensah intersection here on the University of Ghana campus. Well, President Akufo-Addo was here some days ago to launch the university's endowment fund. Well, he made some statements. He said, actually, that his uncle, J.B. Danquah, is actually the founder of the University of Ghana. In fact, in his own words, he says it is wholly appropriate and will not be far-fetched for anybody to say that J.B. Danquah is the founder of the University of Ghana.
Well, I think that is an argument that defeats a number of purposes historically. And for me, it isn't entirely surprising following the trajectory of this current government's involvement in reshaping Ghana's historical past. I mean, 2 or so years ago, we had the conversation about 6th March and the need or the argument or the claim to move it to 4th August.
Yeah.
And subsequently, we had the argument about Founders Day and Founder Day, elevating an individual over a collective interest for which the University of Ghana was established as one reason that I think this idea, if should be carried forward, as has already been done elsewhere, would be a terrible shot in the feet.
And actually, this is not the first time I'm hearing about this. We've had conversations with colleagues at the department concerning the whole role that our founders have played in making Ghana what Ghana is, and that has actually cut across. It's not just the political aspect, but the foundation of the University of Ghana as well. So it is known that J.B. Danquah had played a role, but he is not the only one, to the best of my knowledge, that has actually played a key role in making University of Ghana what University of Ghana is.
Critically, you realize that these are foundations that may be laid. If the president or the council wants to rename the university, they will not just come and say we are renaming the university. It will start from a place. It will start from laying a single brick. It will start from laying 2 bricks. So generally, this argument has now come into the space, and everybody is now aware that J.B. Danquah was one of the initial founders, if I may say, of the university.
Should there be a renaming? Would you be against it?
Well, there's a political will, and it's a very strong political will. But the University of Ghana is going to be a very difficult case study.
Okay. You think that's not going to be possible, right?
I think it's going to be a long struggle.
A long struggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find out from you, for or against renaming University of Ghana?
It does not serve institutional branding. It's a no.
Okay. What about you?
I don't think it's in the right direction.
You don't think it's in the right direction?
The Institute of Democratic Governance has defended government's decision to push implementation of the election of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to 2021, describing it as one of the best decisions taken by any regime since the Fourth Republic. The Progressive People's Party, led by Dr. Pakwa Kwesi Indom, has been amongst those who criticized the delay with implementation of the NPP's 2016 campaign promise. But Executive Director of IDEC, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, says government's move is not a failure to deliver on its promise, but rather gives it time to correct unforeseen mistakes that would have occurred if the process had been rushed.
If we had rushed to elect MMDCEs within 24 months next year, without creating conditions that would allow them or enable them go into local government and deliver, services that meet our expectations, we would probably wake up to begin to see that, hey, we haven't thought through this carefully, the practical effect it will have on the system, and whether it's going to help us solve any of the problems for which the demand for election of MMDCEs started in the 2020 elections, if not earlier. That all the parties said they were going to do that, but never told us how they were going to do it. In other words, they did not define the practical steps that they were going to do, except to say there will be elections. But how is that going to be done? No party, the NDC, the MPP, the PPP, the PNC, the CPP, and the others laid out how this policy that they say they will be implementing, they didn't cost it. So we don't know how much it will cost to undertake this. And that, in a very serious way, raised questions about the implementation, the effectiveness, the feasibility of having to implement it within 24 months when no preparation. We don't even know if the parties discuss this with the Electoral Commission.
Allaying fears of political sabotage, political analyst Dr. Ransford Jampo said the election of MMDCEs on political grounds would offer an opportunity to rid the country of the old age phenomenon of winner takes all.
If on partisan basis they will be able to support and determine who should become the president of the republic, on partisan basis, then they should also be able to do so, at the local level, on partisan basis. And take note, it is a very proactive and serious solution to winner-takes-all politics, okay? Particularly in areas that ruling governments are not popular. Okay, that's the reason why elections always becomes a do-or-die battle, because he who wins will win everything and he who loses will lose everything. And so it suits the feeling of defeat when you lost a national election and you know that at least at the local level you would have the opportunity to also elect somebody, on partisan basis. We are growing as a democracy, so it cannot always be the case that you have NPP at the national level governing, the NPP president, and then by all means it must also be an MPP, MMDCE at the local level. It should be able to change as a solution, as a strategy to winner-takes-all politics.
It was a mistake, please forgive me. That's the plea from staunch governing MPP supporter Hajia Fati, who confirmed assaulting Adom FM reporter Charity Akosua Sechua at the MPP headquarters last week. Up until Tuesday, Madam Fati was defiant, daring her accuser to meet her in court. Java made the U-turn at the party headquarters Wednesday morning.
Pamucho ya frami Hajia Fati mejina party mpenyimfo enim mejina summit bawuku enim me pa central for nyina cho me yasa a mistake misramu mumfancha me kotoje wofo me banuso. I'm here today to appeal to all pressmen. I'm on my knees begging you people. I don't have any grudge with any pressman, but what came, no, it was a mistake. So please, you people should forgive me. I'm on my knees. Please forgive me.
My colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson was at the governing New Patriotic Party headquarters when the apology was rendered and joins me in the studio with more. So, Parker Wilson, under what circumstances did this apology rendered, or what accounted for this U-turn?
Okay, so we know that the party has distanced itself from the assault.
Yes.
And again, sources within the party were saying that they were not really happy with the situation, so they were trying to talk to Hajia Fati to quickly come and issue an apology to the media, because the NPP is sympathetic towards the media, they are very friendly towards the media, and for this to happen at their premises, it wasn't really the best. So we were told this morning that it's likely she was going to render the apology. And again, I mean, of course, we went there and then we got the apology. So basically, executive of the party spoke to her to, render an apology.
Right, but if you're saying that she was, advised to apologize, especially when she's been defiant all this while, how sincere is this apology?
Well, we cannot say that her apology is sincere or not, but I think the GJA, some pressure groups are all demanding an apology from her and also the party, and then she came to apologize. So I think we need to go the extra mile by asking whether this apology absolves her or eliminates her from any punishment the party would want to mete out to her.
All right, and were there any further comments from the party officials who are the
Well, I mean, Samioku was there, so I personally went a step further to ask questions whether or not Hajia Fati, I mean, this is the end, she has apologized, so are we going to leave the matter or the party will still take up the matter? Well, he told me that the party executives will take it up from there. They're going to discuss the apology and then they'll get back to the media.
All right. Thank you very much, Kwesi Parker Wilson, bringing us that update there. And I'm joined on the phone now by the head of Adom News, AC Ohene, who was at the police headquarters earlier today. Now, you have heard the apology rendered by Hajia Fati. She says she apologizes for her conduct. What would be your reaction to that? Hello, AC Ohene.
Hello?
All right, AC Ohene, yes, thank you for making time to join us now. So I'm asking, you've heard...
Hello?
Yes, you've heard the apology of Hajia Fati regarding the assault of the Adom FM reporter Sechua. What will be your reaction? We are having challenges getting through to AC Ohene. It appears he cannot hear us, but we will try the lines and see if we can reach him on a much better line. You're watching Joy News Prime. You're on Joy News on Multi TV. In the next few minutes, or in a moment, we're going to be bringing you business news with Emmanuel Abuachi Uafi. Do stay.
Hello again. Good evening to you. Time now for business. Chinese airlines are being encouraged to consider extending the operations into the country to boost trade relations between Africa and China. Speaking at the conference of the China-Africa Joint Research and Exchange Program, the Minister for Aviation, Cecilia Dapa, said airlines in China and Africa must take advantage of the bilateral air service agreement to develop a more efficient transport system.
The conference brought together various stakeholders in the aviation sector across Africa and China to discuss the future and prospects of Africa's air market and possible collaborations for development with the Chinese. Director General for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Simon Aluti, explained infrastructure and training of human resource base are among key areas that country looks to benefit from.
You realize that infrastructure is key to the development of the aviation industry. We need to have appropriately sized airports. We also need equipment, aircraft, and infrastructure provision is key. How do you fund this infrastructure? So we're going to discuss various funding models in the provision of infrastructure. We also have to really talk about human capacity building. Africa cannot continue depending on aid from donor-friendly states. We need to develop our own human capacity for us to stand on our own. We cannot be spoon-fed continuously by other states. So at this forum, we're going to recommend the transfer of skills, knowledge, and technology so that after a period of time, we will also be able to stand on our own.
Addressing the conference, Aviation Minister Cecilia Dapa urged more Chinese airlines to consider flying into Africa.
Trade between Ghana and China has increased tremendously over the past decade, and according to Madam Sung Bahang, the hard-working former ambassador to Ghana, the trade volume was 6.6 billion in 2015, with a projected annual increase of 18%. The link between Ghana and China is growing steadily, with the availability of efficient air connectivity being one of the key contributory factors. I therefore urge airlines in China and Ghana to take advantage of the numerous bilateral air service agreement buses with various African countries and begin operations to destinations on the continent and beyond, of course, including Ghana.
On his part, acting Chinese ambassador to Ghana stressed the need to grow Africa's air transport system.
More than 70% of Africa air transport business is carried out by non-Africa airlines. The proportion of the market share taken by African airlines in the global air transport is only 3%. the average cost of air transport in Africa is twice that of the world. So we have big potential, big demand for the further development of the aviation industry. It is therefore an important and urgent task to strengthen connectivity and facilitate free flow of personnel and goods through developing an aviation industry and building regional aviation network in Africa.
The conference is under the theme China-Africa Aviation Cooperation, Prospects and Policy Recommendations.
The founder of Farmers Hope, an organic fertilizer manufacturer, has bemoaned the lack of government support for the indigenous enterprise. Akwesise Bobiansan laments the factory located in Kumasi is unable to produce at full capacity due to limited demand, a situation he blames on the importation of chemical fertilizers. In what became an inspiring speech to participants of the Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, Mr. Bobiansan said despite the challenges he continues to face, he is determined to succeed in the fertilizer industry. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur has more in this report.
Made from 7 agricultural waste such as cocoa pods, rice husk and neem seeds, the organic fertilizer is said to be good for all kinds of crops. Founder of Farmers Hope, Akwesise Bobiansa adds, the fertilizer also replenishes soil strength. The factory, located at Eputoja in Kumasi, however, does not produce at full capacity, a situation Mr. Bobiansa blames on limited demand and lack of support from government.
Fertilizer industry is mostly dominated by government, and they are all imported. So if government says, I have subsidy on this particular fertilizer, everybody tends to go to that side, especially with the planting of food and for those. You realize that they buy specific fertilizer, they give it to the farmers, and nobody will care to come and buy from you. The fact is that this company can take over 100,000 people directly and indirectly. But you don't have the demand. Why do you employ?
Akwesise Bobiansa wishes to contribute to the Planting for Food and Jobs program, which government intends to scale up this year, targeting 500,000 farmers across the country. He reckons some of the many hectares of farmland to be cultivated across the country could be fortified with this organic fertilizer. But so far, all efforts to get the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to acquire some of its locally manufactured fertilizer have proved futile.
Every ministry that is concerned have been there. Letters, personal appearance. We are doing a whole lot of consultation with the agri directors, but we are not seeing the signs.
So far, since you started, government has not bought any of your fertilizers?
Not one bag. A farmer came and said that they have never seen this fertilizer. He bought just 50 bags.
He tells participants of the Cosmos Agritech Challenge such setbacks, though overwhelming, do not break his resolve.
Sometimes it will take me 3 months and I wouldn't get paid. I pay my workers and I go hungry. That is the spirit of an entrepreneur.
For participants of the Cosmos Agritech Challenge, listening to the exploit of the founder of Farmers Hope has been inspiring as they feel encouraged to go out there and start their own enterprise. Adelaide Arthur, Joy News, Kumasi.
We have this charcoal powder.
And away from that, local pharmaceutical manufacturing company Intravenous Infusion Limited has begun the process of raising about 5.5 million Ghana cedis from the capital market through a private placement. Managing Director of the company, David Kluche, disclosed this in an interview after the company took its turn at the annual Facts Behind the Figures series at the Ghana Stock Exchange. Ebenezer Sabuti has more in this report.
In recent times, the local pharmaceutical manufacturing firm has been affected negatively by the indebtedness of the National Health Insurance Authority to some major health facilities in the country. Even though it has no direct contract with the NHIS, according to the Managing Director of Intravenous Infusions, David Klucher, the company is seeking to raise funds from the stock exchange. It also expected $5 million from the government stimulus package program to support its expansion project.
$5 million. So once we get the funding, we're able to then buy the complementary machinery that we are looking for. Then we can increase output capacity. So those are the key things that we want to do, which then enables us to go into our sister countries in terms of finished products.
With the Ministry of Trade, is it a stimulus package?
It's a stimulus package, yes.
Have you applied already?
Yes, we have applied. I mean, the application was last year, February, March, I believe. Yes.
And what was the response?
They have acknowledged it, and we are waiting for them to just get back to us with their funding.
Okay. What of the 5.5 million public placements?
It's a private placement.
Sorry,
yes. The private placement, as we said, we are technically in the private placement window, which lasts from now to, I believe, till the 22nd of June. So by 22nd of June, the private placement window will be closed, and then those members who are minded to make the money available will bring the money, and then we will close the private placement.
And what specifically are you using that also for?
We're using to pay off our facility with NIB and also for working capital.
Despite the huge indebtedness by some public health facilities, he said the company is still supplying products to the market.
We don't do that. We haven't done that. And where there's a delay, we try to engage the hospital or the facility, and they might assure you that, we'll get the money and then we'll pay, and then where we are happy with it, we supply them the products. Well, I mean, the 2018, the first thing we want to do is to do the private placement, because when we get the private placement, it will help us to clear some of the balances on our balance sheet.
The company has recorded significant growth in profits since it was listed on the alternative market in 2015. Ebenezer Sabote's report for Joy Business.
And that's business for the night. My name is Emmanuel Opwaji. We have a good evening.
While many farmers in Ghana may admit that organic farming is the best way to produce food crops, they shy away from the method because compared to using fertilizers and other chemicals, it is tedious. One farmer has however managed to cultivate a 7-acre organic farm at Karimenga, a northern region community very close to the Upper East region. Ibrahim Salifu defied the odds of limited rains in that area to keep his farm green all year round. But even more surprising is the fact that he has cultivated cassava and other crops which are not traditionally grown in that part of Ghana. Upper East correspondent Albert Sori visited Ibrahim at his farm and our reports.
It is rare to see a farm in the northern and upper regions so green at this time of the year when the rains are just beginning to set in. This is usually seen only around major irrigation dams, but even then, the crops are mainly vegetables which do not stay green throughout the year. But Ibrahim Salifu is defying the odds and has cultivated a 7-acre farm here at Karimenga.
Like, we are very close to the river, and that actually means that there are floods that come. But this is an area when the floods are there, it becomes an island. So I thought it wise to put it close where it is possible for us to farm all year round. We've started planting maize at this time. So most people will question, around this time where you can plant maize, we say you can already see. Well, there are some maize which we did, which is going really very, very well. And there are quite a lot of bees that help with pollination, so we don't actually have problems with the maize.
Part of the White Volta runs through this community, and Ibrahim gets water from there for his farm, which is located not too far away. But this is not the only thing that has helped Ibrahim to keep this farm alive. He has a lot of farming ideas and keeps this 7-acre farm strictly organic.
There's a system of farming which is known as no-till. It's a type of farming where the practice is you don't use the tractor to till the land. you just make sure you do a lot of mulching, no burning. You make sure that there's a lot of grass, because you can control weeds when you put lots of mulch on, a lot of dry grass on. And what also it does is that it also invites things like the termites to feed on the dry grass. So the termite is the best friend of the farmer, but in most cases it has been made like the termite is not good on your farm.
Ibrahim has grown different kinds of crops on this farm. He has already harvested tomatoes and onions and has cabbage, carrots, ginger and maize still growing on the farm. He has also cultivated cassava, cocoyam and plantain, which are not traditionally grown in the northern parts of Ghana. Ibrahim occasionally receives foreign and local visitors who come to learn his methods here in this farmhouse.
A lot can visit the farm here because it's a place where farmers can come to learn or see things, you know, that they think would not work, but then they would come over to see. So the planting for food on job, like governments, we can't do all that. We can go into composting, and then through that we are able to get very good results from practicing and not using so much expensive. We don't have to worry about chemicals because.
So Ibrahim is using his knowledge of agric to run this farm, 7 acres of crops, and all of it is purely organic. Everything he's doing here, he's using manure, he's using grass, no chemicals, he's not using any sophisticated equipment. And he wants government to support so he can use these ideas to teach other farmers so that they can improve on how they are growing crops. Albesori, Joy News, Carmenga.
Police at Manson Kwanta in the Master West District of the Ashanti region are seeking the support of mining firms to help retrieve the bodies of a pregnant woman and a 5-month-old son who were killed by a lover. The bodies of 40-year-old Ya Ata and Kofi Konto were discovered in an abandoned mining pit. My colleague Ohemiteya, who has been following the story, reports police are still struggling to retrieve the bodies 2 days after the suspect, Kwame Tufo, led police to the scene.
Residents of Manso Adubiaso went on a search for Yata and her son, Konto, following their disappearance Friday. Kwame Tufo had joined a search party, ostensibly to look for his lover and son, several kilometers from home. He was, however, arrested when he tried to leave the community. After news got to the search team, he had been seen with a disease on the day they disappeared. Tufo confessed during interrogation to the killing of the two. He then led police on Tuesday to the scene where the almost decomposed bodies were found.
We searched everywhere throughout the night for them, but to no avail. We continued the following morning without success. Later, when we heard she was pregnant for Tufo, we decided to meet with him. To our surprise, he had sneaked out of town under suspicious circumstances. This is the man who has been with us in the search for the woman and her son.
Adubiaso Dukro, Nana Obembeko II attributes the arrest of the culprit and discovery of the bodies to intervention of the cause, who will now be pacified.
We will call on the gods, our ancestors, and all the deities. Each one of them will intervene. We don't want this calamity to befall us again.
Police say they will need the support of mining companies in the area to retrieve the bodies. District Chief Executive William Asante Bediakon visited the scene with police on Wednesday.
Look at the circumstances surrounding the death. It looks like it was calculated. And then from the roadside to where, the pit is where the person has been buried, it looks like, I don't know whether the person planned it himself. And for now, we don't even know how many people are down there, because it looks like the lady and the daughter cannot be found. And I'm told the victim, the murderer, claimed that he killed the lady and then the little daughter. But for now, we don't even know where the body is. You can't even see through the pit. And that's why, I mean, if you look at where we came from, and if a human being can decide to walk the lady through to the place so that he can kill the lady, then I don't know what came of him.
Okay,
I've called the Asanko mines. We've asked them to assist us with some logistics so that we can probably dig down or something. So,
meanwhile, the Manson Quantum Magistrate Court has remanded the suspect into police custody on provisional charge of murder. He will reappear on June 6, 2018. From Manso in the Ashanti region for Joy News, Ohiminteria reporting.
Well, Ohiminteria joins us live from Kumasi. More on this particular story. Now, Ohiming, do you have any information if the bodies have been retrieved yet?
Yes, Israel, just a few minutes ago, I got information that with the support of local illegal miners, police and then the district assembly have managed to retrieve the bodies of the two. Here I'm talking about Mame Ataya and then her son, Kofi Konto, who were killed in that callous manner.
Now, how's the gentleman who is believed to have murdered these two, has he spoken about the motive at all?
Israel, for the police sources, I'm told that the gentleman has a wife in the community, and beyond the wife, she engaged this particular woman in a relationship. So the woman conceived for her, and as part of attempts to cover up her deeds, he decided to murder Atta so that the issue of people pointing accusing fingers at him, and especially generating into a brawl between him and then her wife, his wife decided to end it all. And that is how come he walked the disease and her son through the bush. And I can confirm that if you look at the location of the community and where the incident happened, several kilometers in between them. So it was a planned and calculated attempt just to get rid of the woman. And according to police, he confessed to the killing of the woman and later led them yesterday to the scene. So through his narration, first he killed the woman, and few minutes later came back for the 5-year-old boy who had then been left at a particular spot. So he killed them in a row, one after the other. And first he dumped the body of the woman into a very deep abandoned Galamsey pit, and later came for the son and did same to him. So the death on its own has shocked the entire Manso, Edubiaso and his environs.
Oimi, you have been speaking with the DC for months here. What has he been telling you?
The DC for Amansia West, Mr. William Asante Bediakon, at first appealed to the mining companies, especially Asanko Mining, to assist in the retrieval of the body. And they had discussions with the police, NADMO, and then mining officials to map up a strategy to ensure that they retrieve the bodies. But unfortunately, when that discussion was delayed, and they thought that they needed an immediate solution, then they fell on these local gentlemen who also decided to offer their support. They were also called in to assist. So for the DCE, he thinks that maybe some people may be involved. He believes this particular murder could have been planned and executed with the support of others. So he wants police to carry out further investigations to ascertain who and whom also took part and assisted the suspect, Kwame Tufo.
Right, thank you very much, Hemingway, bringing us those gory details from Kumasi. We're taking a break. We'll bring you showbiz next. Lawyer for one of several High Court judges indicted over bribery allegations made against them in a corruption expose in 2015 is demanding the withdrawal of a statement from the presidency suspending the judges. The judges in the expose by investigative journalist Anas Aremia Anas were caught on tape accepting what was said to be bribes. A statement from the presidency on Wednesday announced that 4 of the justices, Uta Paul Derry, Mustafa Logo, Gilbert A.C. Addo, and Charles Quist, have been suspended with immediate effect. The suspension, according to the statement, follows the establishment of a prima facie case against them by the committee set up by the Chief Justice to investigate alleged acts of bribery and corruption against certain persons, including the 4 justices, as contained in the August 29, 2015 petition of Anas Aremia Anas. Lawyer for Gilbert A.C. Addo, Pakpo Addo, however, says his client had already been suspended in 2015 by then Vice President Papa Kwesi Emisa Arthur, and that it is erroneous on the part of the presidency to include him in the current notice of suspension. He spoke with Evans Smith on Top Story.
That is a misstatement of the law. It is the executive arm of government that suspends.
The constitution is clear. The president only acts on the advice of the committee that the Chief Justice sets up.
The president has the option to suspend or not to suspend. It is not a shall. Go and check the constitutional provisions.
But at least we all both agree that it's an advice that he acts on.
That is why in recent times there was even the need to go to the Supreme Court on whether or not the president is bound by the advice that he gets from the Council of State or other councils. But that is by the way. What Eugene fails to understand is that when he receives the correspondence from the Chief Justice, the first thing that should have occurred to him is that this particular matter did not start from this particular president. It had started from the former president and the former Chief Justice. So due diligence required of him that he would have gone through the records to find out whether there was any correspondence in respect of these 4 judges from the former president or from the former Chief Justice. Because these 2 current Chief Justices and the current President cannot in good faith and good conscience be abreast with all the matters that are pertaining to this particular issue. And he knows that these matters are matters of ongoing litigation because at least he would have read about them. So when he issued the statement, and I drew his attention to the fact that, one of the people initially that you have put out has already been suspended. That alone should have raised a red flag that, indeed, there could have been some mistake in what I have put out. He then tries to say that, it is the Chief Justice and the Judicial Council that gave the advice. They gave you advice because it is only advice that they can.
But just a second, lawyer. Don't you admit though that advice, the originating advice itself, was an error?
But if it was an error, then you were not bound by the error. That is why the presidency has institutional memory. They should have gone through the archives. And when I gave him a copy of the letter and drew his attention to it, rather than being humble and admit that I could have made a mistake, he claims that the president just acted on the advice of the Judicial Council. Who told him that the president is bound by the advice of the Judicial Council?
Director of Communications at Jubilee House, Eugene Ayin, however, defended the president's decision, saying it was based on advice by the Judicial Council.
I'm at a loss as to why Pakpo Samado is saying that I have to withdraw the statement and that we've made an error, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, we've made it clear. This statement that has been issued, the letters of suspension that have been sent to the 4 justices, that have been done based on the advice given to the president by the Judicial Council. So, in all honesty, I don't know, there's much ado about nothing. If he has any issue with regards to what has been done, I believe, the Chief Justice signed that letter, which was addressed to the president. He can easily go and vent his frustrations on the Chief Justice and not on me or not on the presidency.
The Attorney General's advice on a case involving 2 persons accused of murdering a former Member of Parliament for Danquah North, J.B. Danquah is still not ready. leaving Accra District Court with no other choice than to once again adjourn the matter without carrying out any tasks on it. The court has been awaiting the legal opinion since October 2017 to enable it decide whether Daniel Isiedu and Vincent Bosso should be committed to trial at the High Court. District Court Magistrate Atit Nsem told the two accused persons on Wednesday not having access to the opinion leaves her with no choice than to adjourn the case again. Education Minister Matthew Opoku-Prempeh says government remains resolute and confident in sustaining the free senior high school policy. Speaking at an educational forum on the theme Unlocking the World's Potential, Leading and Innovating for Quality Education in Africa, Mr. Opoku-Prempeh reiterated government's commitment to provide quality education for all children of school-going age. Efua Evans-Chenry reports.
By 2050, more than half of the world's population growth will occur in Africa, and the continent will also be home to 40% of all children in the world. Minister of Education today met with stakeholders in the educational sector to explore the innovations in Africa that aim to overcome current limitations and pave new ways to empower youth to lead and innovate. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh says, although the educational sector faces a lot of challenges, the government is ready to provide the necessary support needed in the sector.
We depend on development aid for everything. And what is also a fact is that we have the resources to transform Africa, the human resources and the natural endowments to transform Africa. So if a president comes with a vision that Ghana must live beyond aid, or Africa must live beyond aid, it's only the one who wants to forever remain a beggar who would describe it as a rhetoric. If you don't understand the vision, we can explain, and it's simple. The Ghana government budget is virtually funded from one side. You hear the Minister of Finance say our internal revenue that we generate, we use nearly 70% in paying ourselves. What are the number of people on government payroll? Take it a maximum of 1 million. There are 27 million Ghanaians. There are 27 million plus Ghanaians. It's only less than 1 million on government payroll. And if we are using 70% of our internally generated resources to fund only 1 million, and that is only salaries, remuneration. What is left, the 30% that is left, or the less than 30% that is left, is now how to provide for the development of the whole country. So we need development partners to come in. What we are saying is that we as Ghanaians should orchestrate our lifestyle such that what the development partners are giving us today, we would use it and benefit and build our capacities such that tomorrow, when they don't give us the money, we will still survive.
He further mentioned that until Ghana gets its economy right, the country will continue to grapple with challenges in the sector.
As far as the economy is not good, we would continue to grapple with the challenges you don't want. And no matter whether people say 50% of our budget should be committed to education, Ghana does more than that, but we still have the challenges. When the cake is small, a lot of people can enjoy, but let the cake be big and we'll enjoy. So till we get our economy right, even with development partner support, we will not solve every problem of ours.
Mr. Opoku-Prempeh says everyone must support the policies and programs of government in the educational sector to speed up the development of the country.
Residents of Bonso in Kumasi were shocked Wednesday when a police escort leading some bullion vans fired his gun indiscriminately as they made their way through a busy intersection. The policeman who was sitting on top of a police vehicle ordered motorists to give way as he fired his weapons. We're joined on the line now by Lava Films Erastus Danquah, who witnessed the incident. Hello, Erastus. What can you tell us about this incident at Bonso?
Well, let me say this morning, around 9 a.m., we
myself, my colleagues, Love FM and Insure FM, were standing on the balcony of our building, and just at the traffic light at Bomso, we had gunshots, and that kind of gunshot coming from how you see it in movies, like the AK-47 gunshot. Bah! So I did not know what was happening, so I was looking in the sound. Then I heard another sound, another gunshot. Bah! So this time I became concerned. Then I saw that in the traffic, there was a traffic build-up to the traffic light. More vehicles like that, a normal traffic light. And then I saw the Bank of Ghana blue bullion van, 2 of them. And then at the head of it, we had a police patrol vehicle with a policeman on top with an AK. And then following the bullion vans, we had another vehicle, police vehicle with another policeman there. But the policeman in front was firing. And so he fired a third one and was asking the vehicles, the motorists, to move aside and give them way. So, in fact, my friend Jamagla was there. We were shocked. So what I was asking myself was, is this not practice that the policeman, instead of using the siren, was firing an AK really into the air and directing traffic with it?
Erastus, do we know if anybody at all was hit by these shots?
No, he was firing into the air. Nobody was shot, but people were, some people who were shot were moving away from the scene, and vehicles were trying, even though it was a traffic area. In fact, not so much space, but vehicles were trying to find a place to park. And so those who were selling along the line moved away from the road and got to the pavement. And then went away in the street. Before we could even raise our phones to take a shot or something, they were gone. But the guy fired a 4th shot after crossing the traffic light.
Now, Erastus, we know, or we're learning, that the policeman involved has been arrested and he is in custody. But have we had any statement from the police explaining his conduct and whether this is going to be, regular practice?
In fact, my colleague, Bernard, with Insure FM, called some of the security agency contacts and told them what has happened, because we did not know whether it was standard practice. We kept asking ourselves that, is this standard practice for those who drive the Bank of Ghana bullion van, the police, to be firing like that instead of using the siren? And so he called. And so just this evening we had the confirmation that the police officer has been arrested and that they are keeping him in detention and they are investigating. But aside that, we've not heard anything from the police hierarchy.
All right. Thank you very much, Erastus Asare Danquah. Now, everyone loves them, and with as low as an amount of 2 cedis, you can afford one and keep the doctor away. Coconuts having become the latest to achieve superfood status, are being patronized in their hundreds, leaving tons of waste in their wake, which city authorities are struggling to deal with. But one man is helping deal with the waste by using coconut waste or coconut fiber to make fertilizers and other artifacts. Komladom has more.
Coconuts, thirst quenching and filling. Well, according to experts, coconut water and their fresh, fleshy food have several health benefits. Good source of several nutrients, has antioxidant purposes, helps prevent kidney stones, and reduces blood pressure, among others. The white fleshy food, be it juicy, tender, or slightly thick, also has several benefits. Rich in fiber, contains healthy fats, protects against heart disease and stroke, and fights abdominal weight gain. But along with all the health benefits and the boom in consumption comes a waste crisis. Coconut husks have littered many parts of the capital, choked drains which may lead to flooding in these areas. But one man is in his own small way using coconut waste to manufacture organic fertilizers and artifacts. Meet Achilles Ali, CEO of Ecofiber Agro Systems, determined to help deal with the waste situation. I'm sure you're wondering what happens to all these husks. Well, until the breakdown of the only truck that conveys these from here to Bong Katamanso constituency at Tema, Ecofiber Agro Systems made use of these husks, and for what exactly?
We process waste coconut into organic growing media, that is artificial soil for greenhouses and also for even open field planting. The benefits are that this artificial soil is devoid of soil-borne diseases like nematodes and others that many farmers face, which makes farming difficult. This is more or less like a high-tech way of farming, which is easier to manage because of its high water retention capacity. Then also because of the looseness, it also allows aeration, which means the plants are able to access oxygen, and the roots are able to also form well, which gives a robust plant and therefore leading to better growth.
It's an innovation he imported from his long stay in Europe as an engineer. And here, farmers in the country can benefit and improve crop yield. Not only peasant farmers are benefiting from the use of a plant media made from coconut waste, but the capacity of a company to sustain production is what's a worry to managers.
We haven't really been able to get any loan from the banks, even though we've been chasing them up and down with all kinds of business plans. We couldn't really raise money. We tried buying even a truck, and because we could not sustain the market, we were not able even to pay for the truck, which was taken back by the company. We've even had lots of court cases. We are running up and down because we are not sustainable enough to be able to feed companies that require our product, even though we have more than abundant raw material.
Apart from fertilizers and organic planting media, the coconut husks are used for other artifacts, and Ecosystems is harnessing the potential of the crop to boost the artifact industry.
We even intend going into other products, like this, which is for the ceiling panels and then the building and construction industry. We also have the fiber, which we process into mats. We further press them into boards, and we are soon going to start pressing them into various containers for fruit carriers, egg carriers, and also components for the automobile industry.
Here's how it happens.
First, we look for the raw material, which is brought into our premises. Whether dry or wet, we can still use them. They go through the defibering process. That's a machine that does the separation. The dust, which is the pit, which is finally the growing medium, is extracted and comes down. And then the fiber is thrown on the other side of the machine, which is the loose hair-like products, and which is also further used for other products. But more or less, pit is then sieved and then goes through other processes like disinfecting them. We have that oven that it goes through. It's still a long process. We are finding other ways, maybe organic ways of disinfecting them. And so from that stage of disinfection, it's then bagged and then sold to the client.
Ecofiber Systems is looking to expand its operations to boost high-tech farming, interior decor, and the artifacts industry, as well as rid the city of tons of coconut waste. But the collaboration with state agencies is the missing link.
Recently, I sent a proposal to the Youth Ministry, would I say the National Youth Innovations Ministry, suggesting that if they could partner with us, so that we would use a place like Agogloshi, we'll get a portion of Agogloshi, then they heap all coconuts like the one at Circle over there, Then we build a defibrillation plant. And then we absorb all these Kayayo girls there to do the mats. Then we talk to Ministry of Trade to make it an obligation that every government office should have a mat, a door mat. So if we have, let's say, 66,000 government offices, and they have to order a mat a year, and a mat is being sold for 20 cedis, that means it can sustain all these girls, pay their salaries, and then even go into other productions like fiberboard and all those without even becoming a problem on the government purse.
Achilles Ali wants a local content policy which will have all MMDAs purchase and use artifacts made in Ghana, including those from coconut waste, and he believes this could help achieve the president's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda.
To be interesting if the government would listen to us this time, and previous governments didn't listen to us. Maybe they didn't understand what it was.
Well, while the company awaits responses to tens of proposals sent to relevant state agencies, its resolve to brighten the corner where it is despite the odds remains unshaken. Until then, in their own small way, Eco Fiber Agro Systems looks to play its role in ridding the city of tons of coconut waste. Komla Adom, Joy News, Accra.
And in the headlines, the Energy Ministry has overruled a decision by the board of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company to suspend its chief executive. The Ashanti Region Police have retrieved the bodies of a pregnant woman and a 5-month-old son who were killed by her lover at Manson Kwanta in the Amansia West District. Institute of Democratic Governance backs government's decision to postpone implementation of MMDCE elections to 2021. In business, Aviation Minister urges Chinese airline operators to extend services to the African continent to enhance Sino-African trade relations. And staunch governing New Patriotic Party member Hajia Fati, who admitted assaulting an Adom FM reporter, has apologized.